This Week in Combat Sports, where we're looking ahead to this weekend's big fights and some of the bigger news of the day. I'm Drew Goldfarb, joined by Rick Rockwell. Rick, this weekend, UFC back on pay-per-view from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil for UFC 237. Big women's strawweight main event, some big fights leading up to it as well. Which fights provide the best betting opportunities on this card?
You know, when you look at the prelim bouts, the majority of them have a high disparity in betting odds, especially with like the BJ Penn versus Clay Guida fight. There's a couple other ones that are like plus 400, minus 500 type stuff. It's really not until you get to the main card where there's actually closer odds and you got better value. And that goes to the main event fight between the women. That goes to the co-featured, the semi-main event with Silva, and even the Jose Aldo fight. All three of those fights offer, and even the Thiago Alves fight, all four of those fights of the 5 main card fights offer good betting value because the odds are very close. They're close fights on paper. They're close fights with the odds makers. You can, whichever way you lean, you're going to get a good return. So there is good betting value there. But I would avoid most of the prelims if you're looking for value. They're more not worth the risk in terms of betting minus 200, minus 300, because in the MMA game, you never know. Some of these guys are so close when they actually get into the cage. You get a big underdog win, and you lose $200, $300, $400 like that.
I know you're excited for this weekend's Bellator show as well. What stands out about the card on Bellator 221?
You know, I'm more fired up for Bellator, and I even put this in writing. I am more fired up for Bellator this weekend than the UFC card. Now, I love when they go to Brazil because the Brazil fans are rowdy. They make it an awesome environment. And for me, that makes a show even more enjoyable. It's a throwback to like pro wrestling where you got a hot crowd. The matches just seem better. But when you're in Brazil, the fights just seem so much better. But for Bellator, I like their main card more than I like the main card for UFC. And here's why. Their main event is a champ versus champ fight. It is a Pitbull versus Chandler. Now, it's only for Chandler's belt, the lightweight belt. And Chandler's a sizable betting favorite. But these two have bad blood. Like, these two don't like each other. And Pitbull's been talking trash to him for a long time now, but especially leading up to this fight. So right there, you have a champ versus champ fight with bad blood. That makes, for me, that makes a must-see fight. Then in the co-main event, you have the semifinal matchup in the welterweight Grand Prix with Lima versus MVP. MVP is unbeaten. Lima's a former welterweight champion. You know, he held the belt up until about a year and a half ago when he lost to Rory McDonald. Point is, that's going to be another great matchup. And Lima is pretty good betting favorite, sizable favorite in that one too. MVP hasn't lost yet. He's got a unique style. He's kind of like a Anderson Silva light in terms of his unorthodox striking style, and he's a character. And then you got another great fight between McKee and Curran. Curran was a former champ back in the day, and McKee's an undefeated rising contender in the division, and they're going to battle it out. And if that wasn't enough, you get Hager's second pro fight. Jack Swagger's out there again, and they're putting him against basically a guy with warm blood, a heavy, what do I always say, a heavy bag that punches back. That's what he's going to do. He's going to go out there. He's going to put him in the ankle lock, win that match. With that said, I'm really excited for the Bellator card. I really think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. The main card for me is much more intriguing and exciting than UFC's main card.
You can't bring up Jack Swagger without – just do it with me. Here we go.
We the people.
There you go. Can't say Jack Swagger without doing that. Last question for you this week. We're going to turn to boxing. 2 fight options for viewers and bettors. Which do you prefer of the 2?
You know, the Hurd versus Williams fight is going to be a good fight. But for me, it's the ESPN card by Top Rank. And here's why. The 2 main fights for that event are rematches. And in those rematches, you're going to have wars. This isn't even going to be like technical skills versus technical skills. You're going to have a war in both of them. That is exciting. If you watch their first fights, they were exciting. These rematches, they're going to be exciting. And it's going to be on ESPN. It's for free. Like, you can't beat that. You can't beat exciting fights with belts on the line that you can watch for free. Like, I'm pumped for that. I'm more pumped for that than I am UFC, but not as much as Bellator. So that's kind of how I rank them in there. But you got 2 rematches, 2 world titles. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be another great – we head into this weekend thinking about moms on Sunday, but before we can even get to Mother's Day, we got a whole lot of fighting going on Saturday. And that's going to be a lot of fun for all fight sports fans.
All right, Rick Rockwell, thank you very much. Be sure to check out Rick's articles on boxing, MMA, and more online now at gamblingsites.org. He's got all of these cards and more covered and broken down for you there. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Odds On Favorites YouTube channel. I'm Drew Goldfarb. He's Rick Rockwell. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.